largest farm to school grant program in the nation. This is our third cohort. So this is our third time going through this process. And each year it changes and evolves. But what stays the same is that these projects are always amazing and inspirational and very, very fun. So we're very happy to share these updates today. We are not going to go the whole time on this call. We're going to give you some time back, and mostly we're just going to give an overview of where we're at now and what's happening in the new year. So kind of some one-way updates to start, and then after that, some resources with our grantee webpage. So excited for all of that. Thank you everyone for joining. We're up to 149 folks. So very fun. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. As a reminder, this is being recorded. So if you ever have to hop off or you're wondering, can I send this to somebody else on my team? Yes, of course. So we'll send out this recording as soon as we have it, along with live links to all of the stuff that we are going to talk about today. Okay, we're going to jump in. So today's agenda, there's only 3 things. So like I said, we're not going to be on here the whole time with me talking at you for 3 things. So the first one is agreement process updates. We'll go through that and I'll give an update on where we're at on the timeline. Second is we'll look at and review grant resources and evaluation. That's really all the stuff that's coming to you in the new year. So that'll be fun. And then last is we'll look at our grantee webpage, which is really the administrative brain for our whole grant program. So if you're ever wondering like, well, we have the FAQs coming. I don't want to spoil it for you. We'll save it all till we get there. So first things first, the most important thing we want to talk about is our grant agreement process updates. And this is the most important thing for us to get the money moving from the state to all of your projects. So right now there's 195 total projects. If you're interested in what 102 plus 93 equals. It's 195 total projects, and 102 of those projects have their agreements fully executed or are waiting for signature, are in the final steps of review with the Office of Grants Administration, or they've been sent to you and we're waiting on you to review it and send it back to us. So there's 102, so over half of the projects are in that phase. If you already have your grant in your inbox and you have questions from us, please do your best to turn that around ASAP. We're thinking that all 102 of those projects, if everybody responds and gets their ducks in a row, that all 102 of those projects will be ready to roll Jan 1 on our expected start date. So that's piece 1. So if you've already gotten something from us, you're in that 102. There is, however, a hook for these 93 projects that have not received their new scope of work and budget and grant agreement packet from us yet. And that means that your project will not be eligible to start on Jan 1 at this time. It's a blessing to be the largest farm to school grant program, but it's also a big challenge to get this many agreements moved through. So if you haven't gotten a grant agreement from us yet, I want to share 2 things. One is if that's going to create a pinch for you to not be starting absolutely ready to go on Jan 1, I just want you to email your regional staff member or our inbox and let us know. And then we're going to walk you through what the process can be and what adjustments can be made for your project. So that's thing 1. And then thing 2 for those projects, if you haven't received it yet from us, your end date on the agreement is going to stay the same, but we can always extend those projects. So if you're going to end up starting on February 1 or on January 29th, whatever it is, then just know that we can give an extended time on the end for you to make up those lost days. So if you have a signed agreement from OGA, you'll know because they'll send it to you and say, this is a signed agreement, you're ready to go, and it'll have a Jan 1 start date. If you have that all done, then you are ready to go Jan 1. Jennifer put a great question in the chat. Do we have a sense of timing for the agreements that haven't been sent yet? Honestly, the workflow is going as quick as we can do it. I would assume sometime in January or worst case, early February is kind of what we're feeling right now. There's been so much great back and forth with folks on revising and updating scope of work that it really is project by project. We've prioritized doing track 4 and track 1 knowing that the farms and food hubs, they have to hit planting deadlines and that sort of thing. And that the schools, of course, sometimes need extra time to get things going. So that's where we're at now. And then Dr. Angelia, thank you so much for your question of who specifically does the communication come from. That will come from, oh gosh, what's her name, Rachel? In OGA? Nicole, sorry.
Nicole.
Nicole Martucci from the Office of Grants Administration is the one who will send you the grant agreement when it's ready for its final signature. Otherwise, when you get your initial packet for review, that comes from our Farm to School inbox from Rachel and Andy. So if you're in that 93 bucket and that's going to cause a pinch for you, I just encourage you, please just reach out to our team and we'll update you on the process. Yeah, Adriana, so the first email from our team will come from the CA Farm to School inbox. Rachel, can you put that one in the chat? And then the second email with the final grant for you to sign will come from nicole.martucci@cdfa.ca.gov. Yeah, thank you. Sometimes they go to spam. Everyone knows Outlook to Gmail is weird sometimes. And then also state government to public is, of course, weird sometimes too. So, okay. Thanks, y'all. Can you put Nicole's in the chat too, Rachel? And then we'll go to the next thing. So that's the agreement process. Next is on grantee resources and what supports we're going to have for you in place and what's going to be coming to you in the new year for you to look out for. So the first thing is our team is going to do a beginning interview. So you're going to conduct a beginning interview with our regional staff. So our team is going to be in touch with you in the new year. And these beginning interviews are a time for them to come visit you in person to learn about you and your project and your team. And if you're a school, to walk through your kitchens and your gardens, to talk to the teachers and the team. If you're a producer, to walk through your packing shed and your wash station and to get some great before photos if possible, and to just hear the stories of what's going on for your project. So those beginning interviews are going to be happening in the first quarter of your grant. So that'll be between January and April. Our team's going to reach out to you and schedule. They'll have all those resources and stuff. There's really nothing specifically you need to prep other than availability. After that, if there's any follow-up data or anything that we need, that would totally, that's just fine. You'll get that in the meeting. Next is the monthly California Farm to School Network calls. So if you're a returning grantee, you'll know that we used to have twice a month office hours calls. And that was an opportunity for grantees, one, to get administrative support with the grant, but then two, to network some. And what we've found is that those calls are so valuable, we want to open them up to the broader public, that's all. So instead of doing just an office hours calls for our grantees, we're going to be doing monthly California Farm to School Network calls. The next call is January 30th at 2 p.m. And we'll put that Zoom link in the chat for you as well. I know Rachel's pulling a bunch of stuff, but we'll put that Zoom link in there so you can register. And this call offers the opportunity for folks to do breakout rooms with their peers. So there's breakout rooms on school food and procurement. There's ones for farms and food hubs. There's ones for early care and education, ones for hands-on food education. So whether you're an educator or a school food leader or just somebody who's interested in learning more about farm to school, every month we're going to cover upcoming funding opportunities, best practices in the field, how the state can support you, and then connect you to your network members and partners. So all of that will be rolling for you on these monthly calls. They're always the last Thursday of each month. So you can pull that up. It works basically January through October, and then November and December we get caught in the weeds. Okay, pausing here. I see a couple questions. Can we share the regional contacts? We'll have that coming next. And then Adriana's shared, can you please give Nicole's email? I'm awaiting the final agreement. Yeah. Rachel, do you have that? Yeah, okay, there we go.
Hi, sorry, trying to get all the links. And I just want to say Nicole's going to be sending out the agreement once it's ready for your signature. But if you have any questions about stuff, please be sure to reach out to the CA Farm to School inbox because Nicole will just refer you to us anyway if you have any questions. So You won't have to reach out to her directly, but she's where the email will come from for your signed agreement.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, yay. And then if you're able to pull, there's two other links for us to share with you here. One is this Zoom call for the registration email, or sorry, for the network call on January 30th. There it is. And then this last bullet here for grant resources and evaluation is that there is a third, oh, sorry, Betsy asked a question, and we'll get an email for the network call too. Yeah, we'll send it out as well in the notes to this. And that'll be a public call, so all the grantees will get the info, and then we'll also publicize it in our broader December newsletter, our January newsletter, and we'll probably share it on social media. And like I said, that's public. So if you have partners or community members or other staff members that you think would want to join and hear what's going on, it's a great opportunity to spread the word. If there's a teacher that you know that's really inspired but maybe is looking for support or resources, it's a really great opportunity. Okay, and then last thing on this list is our third-party evaluation. So at CDFA, we are extremely lucky to have a third-party evaluation of our Farm to School Incubator Grant Program. It's through the University of California and the Berkeley Food Institute. And this is not an evaluation of how you are doing as a grantee or of you as a person or of your management skills or whatever it is. This is not about you. These evaluators are really looking at the impacts of our program. Are we funding things that are lasting and sustainable? And are we making impact? Is there things that we can improve upon? For example, possibly theoretically getting the agreements done on the date that we say. Just could be something that might come up in an evaluation. So anyway, they will reach out to you, our third-party evaluation team, about what's happening for your experience with the grant. What are your outcomes, whatever. And they'll be talking to you. Oftentimes they will offer like a gift card or an incentive. And I just wanted to let you know that that's optional to receive or not receive. But we would love it for you to be collaborating with our third-party evaluators. It's from the University of California, like I said. Here's why I think we're so lucky to have this evaluation. A lot of folks, I think, tend to try to steer clear of it. But if we want to create lasting impacts in our programs at the state level, then we need to be able to show that these state dollars are being used effectively to reach our program goals. And we need help communicating that impact to the community at large, to elected officials who decide on our state budgets, to federal officials who develop federal programs, and to other states that are also trying to make change in school food. So this evaluation team, not only do they pull key impact metrics for us, not only do they conduct interviews to find out how we can be more effective, but they also then communicate all those findings across the nation. So it's really exciting for us and a really great opportunity for you all as grantees to have your story told all across the nation. And I think that's powerful. There you go. So the eval website, they just published the annual report a couple months ago if you're interested in learning more. Okay, so it's 1:17. I know it's a lot of me talking. There's only one more activity and then we're done. So I think we're doing good here on time. This last thing is just our grant webpage for our grantees. So this is a special webpage. I would love for you to bookmark it now. Highly recommend you bookmarking it now. And this grantee webpage has all of the information for grant administration. So if you're wondering, where are invoices or when are invoices and quarterly reports due? How long does it take to get reimbursed? All of these big questions here, all of this information is on the webpage. And so what I want you to feel when you have this tool is you feel empowered that you know anything that I need is here on this webpage, and it has all the general information. And then if there's anything more specific than that you would need an answer to, like let's say, oh, I don't know what category this should get billed under, can I get some support? That's when you'd reach out to your regional staff. So what I want to do now is take a quick pause, probably 5, maybe 7 minutes. And I want you guys to go to the grantee webpage and then try to answer these questions in the chat. So the grantee webpage is linked here in the chat. And so you can click it and then use this screen share to try to answer these questions. And then Elizabeth asked, Since the November 6th Zoom was canceled, do we have to get all that information based on the grant webpage? I mean, this is what we were going to do November 6th, right here. It's all on the webpage. And then if you have really specific stuff where you're like, well, I have this really weird situation or whatever, if I answer that on a call with 178 people on it, it's just going to create a lot of confusion for the 177 people for your specific case. So happy to do one-to-one follow-up calls with everyone, with our regional staff to provide that support. But for now, I want you to see how much of this can we answer on the webpage. Yeah. So in the chat, once you have the answers, you can share them in there. And I'm just going to pause here for a few minutes, and we'll be monitoring the chat if you need anything. Okay, I see a question. I see some answers coming in. Renee shared, when will we receive funding, or is this only reimbursement? That's a great question. You can check out the how do I submit an advance payment? When do I receive these funds? This grant is set up as a reimbursement grant, but if you want to request advance payment, there's a process for that too. Yeah. Lillian, thank you. 45 days. You're on it. Okay, let's keep seeing. Okay, and I'll flag the questions for us to go through later. Okay, folks, we are going through these questions here in the bullet points, and people are trying to find the answers here. I see a bunch on the invoicing and quarterly reports and how long it takes to get reimbursed. I'm seeing some questions on advance payment. So I'd really recommend going to the webpage and checking that out, and then I'll answer them when we're all done here. A couple more minutes left as people research these answers. Look at Leah linking to the form too. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, folks, love seeing the process here unfold. I'll give some more time and then people will, as people go through, I'll do 2 more minutes, but Moises loved the process of the journey. That I'm exactly like you. I'm like, where's the answer? Oh, I'll keep reading. Okay, so I'll give you 2 more minutes to find as many of these answers as you can, and then we'll go through. Okay, my timer is going off here. My timer is going off. So what I would love to show is just how much information is on that webpage and how so many of these processes, timelines, all of that stuff, how it's all built out on the webpage. So all of these answers, when are they due? How long does it take? What's the process for an advance payment? Is there a form? All of that stuff. It's great. Andrea, thank you. She said, I'm going to quote this one. This is brilliant. Thank you for making us do this. I'm also going to steal this trick. I want to tell you that my wife is the one who told me to do this way. She said, make it a scavenger hunt. I was like, oh, good idea. So full credit to her. And there's so many great questions here to go through. So the webpage has most of the stuff. There's a couple great general, yeah, we do need prizes. Okay, so there's a couple general questions that I want to answer here, but almost all the answers are just right there in the webpage. So I'll go through some of these, and this will be like kind of our wrap up too. And then if you have more specific questions about these processes, if you have more specific questions about your project, then just reach out to your regional staff member in our inbox and we'll connect you and we'll answer your questions. And it's no big deal. This is part of it. And I tell the team all the time, it's okay to just go, that's a great question. We're going to look that up for you and then get back to you. So here we go. We'll go through it. Amanda is the first question I see from 123. I believe that's right. I'm going to just double check here. Yeah. So Amanda has the first question from 123. Is an updated expense summary template request required for each reimbursement? What's the turnaround time for the template? We'll have a template for you. Rachel, do you know how quickly we get the reimbursement templates to each grantee? Because we update that for each grantee has their own version based on their SOW.
Yeah, so we customize those based off of your agreement. And when you're ready for that first invoice, just reach out and we'll give you that initial one right away. And then moving forward from there, when our invoice team reviews your invoice and like sends it off, like when it's ready to go, they'll provide you with an updated template, typically right off the bat. If they don't, then you can reach out to our team and we'll get it back to you right away. So that one's an easy one, a quick turnaround, easy to close.
So just whenever you're ready for that first invoice, whether it's monthly or quarterly, boom, send us a note and we'll send it over to you when you're ready. Okay. Let me keep going. Let me keep going for more questions. I love to see so many answers in the chat, which is a nice switch. Okay, Superior region is Sacramento and West Sac. We have a region we call the Central region, which is also kind of Greater Sacramento. So if you're in West Sacramento or Sac, you have the Central region, and Michael Ackley Grady is your person. Okay, and then Joanna has a question on here at 125. If you're following in the chat, how do advance payments work with monthly staff and labor costs? Thank you. So just like with all the advance payments, you project out all your specific costs and what they'll be. And then our team reviews it and approves it or asks more questions. So if you have a specific like thing you're thinking of like, all right, well, I have this person on a monthly thing, I have this person on a stipend, I have this person on hourly, how am I going to manage all of this? Would just recommend you kind of sending that outlay to your regional person, and then they can start working with you on it so that you'll be ready to roll. Okay. Love, love, love. And then Moises, are there any updates to the metrics? What specific metrics are you thinking of? Happy to give updates on any of that. Our evaluation team has some key metrics they look at on like the percentage and populations of BIPOC producers that get funding, on the percentages and amount of dollars going to small and mid-sized farms, farms that use organic, climate smart, and regenerative practices, all that sort of stuff. Okay, Abby has a question here. Can you please go over when a scope of work revision is required? I'm particularly thinking about the timeline changes that we'll need to make to account for the new start dates. Is there a standard way you want to account for these timeline changes across? So we can update them for when it's going to start. And then if your project has like very specific dates where it's like, we're going to start on February 2nd, we're going to do this activity, then we'll probably just make it more vague is one option in our draft that we send to you. So what we would probably just recommend on this is switching from doing very specific dates to kind of more broad ranges. There's no one requirement from our Office of Grants Administration. So we will be working with each grantee individually to get their thing updated. And it technically won't be a revision since this is your first agreement. So nothing to revise. It'll just be an updated agreement, and that's all. Yeah. Okay. So that's all the questions that were in there. So the things to monitor, we had them earlier in the chat, is if you have your agreement already from us, we want you to go back in there, track down any edits that we asked you to make, any questions that we had for you, answer those things, and then send them back to our team so that we can move it forward in the process. And if you haven't received your agreement yet and you feel like that's going to be a pinch for January, then reach out to your regional person and or our inbox, and we can answer you. Will we be sending out the regional contact list? Yeah, I can pull it up right here for you too. Or if anyone on our team is able to put it in, that would be great.
On the
yeah.
grantee webpage that we're on, if you go to the drop-down opportunities for collaboration and support, you'll find a link to the regional maps. You can see the full view of it where it breaks it down by the counties in case you're wondering which one you're in. And then it also has all of the emails for each regional staff under that drop-down.
Yes. Okay, and then Angie asked, is there a specific resource and fund that we should use for these expenses? That's a great question. We will email that out because I think we need to update that with CDE. They have been telling us a specific thing. Yeah, Pamela, do you know?
I'm sorry, no, I don't know the answer to that question. I had my own question.
Yeah, what is it?
Okay, it says on the website that the reimbursement request is due 30 days after the applicable month or quarter. Can the grantee submit that before that 30 days? Like can the end of January, can they go ahead and submit that reimbursement February 1st?
Yeah, if they wanted to, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And those things, you know, what we found in our first cohort, like I was saying, it's been a learning curve for us, cohort to cohort. In the first cohort, we were like really strict on the date of like, you got to send it by this time. But then what happened is we got like 120 all on the same day, and then it was impossible to process them in enough time to have the turnaround be as quick as we wanted. So now we give kind of a window to allow us to have a workflow and get through everything that we need. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And then Moises asked, is there a timeline for when these new agreements are going to become available? I wish there was a very specific timeline of like, yours is going to be done today, yours is going to be done the next day. But the way that it works, it's just not that smooth. So we expect them to become available in January, possibly into February. We'll give updates regularly, probably every other week, to folks that haven't received their agreement yet and where they're at. So if you haven't received your agreement yet and it's going to cause a pinch to not start exactly Jan 1, please just reach out to us and we're happy to answer that. And then Nikiko, if I'm understanding correctly, can we switch between monthly and quarterly depending on the periods? Yes, definitely, for sure. That's great. We're happy to be flexible on that. The administration is so, you know, there's 195 projects and two people on the admin team. So lots and lots of work to go through that. Okay, and then lots of links to now the links are full in the chat of our regional staff. And look at Janelle is so kind talking through the process in San Diego. Thank you, Janelle, for that, just outlining what the process is like to work with our team. We always say, as long as the why stays the same, the how can change. And we know, especially with these delayed agreement processes, the whole landscape shifts around us. Now there's new money for local foods for schools. Now there's the RFSI grant awards came back. And so things are constantly ebbing and flowing, and we're happy to be flexible with you. Just keep our team in the loop and we'll work through the paperwork together. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So we had this booked for an hour. It went 34 minutes. So we're always happy about that. Okay, last question here is from Dr. Angelia. We are starting our work Jan 2025 and have not received the OGA to start in January. Can we submit retro expenses for work in progress once OGA is in place? So this is basically, sometimes we call it backdating the award to Jan 1 to let folks start. Currently, OGA, who's the Office of Grants Administration, they are kind of like our grant auditors and processors at the state. They're saying they do not want to backdate the agreements. So we're working with them on that. We're in conversation with them. We think that it's great to be able to backdate them, but also it can cause confusion and stress for folks too. So like I said, if you're in that pinch and you're really worried about Jan 1, reach out. Because if we have, maybe there's only a few people, then maybe OGA would do it for just a few versus backdating 90, they might feel funny about it. So just let us know about your situation. I know everybody's different. Sometimes for a school, you get a grant and you're like, I can't even start this till 4 months later, and then it's good. Okay. And then Renee, when are we allowed to start using funds from the agreement? From the date on our agreement? Yes. If you have a signed agreement, then yep, it's from the date on your agreement. Boom, ready to go. And then Lillian, for allowable expenses, do I reach out to the regional contact? We are making some changes to our budget, but want to make sure paying for student lodging to attend a training with an ag teacher is allowable. How awesome. I love all the details. Yeah, just reach out to your regional staff member. That's a perfect example. We used to send all of those sorts of things to our admin team and to our main inbox first, but really the people who know your project and know what makes sense for your project are your regional staff members. They're going to be with you at your beginning interview. They're going to meet with you in person. They'll probably see you throughout the duration of the grant, hopefully visiting a few times. So that's really who's going to be your main point of contact. Yeah. Okay. And Jackie is on there, your regional person, who said she got your email. She's going to respond. So perfect. Okay. So all of this admin stuff, I hope you feel like really confident. Okay, I got the webpage. I can find it there. And if I don't find it there, then I have my regional person and we're good. And on the agreement side, reach out if you're feeling it and we can work with you and update the process. Okay, folks. December 10th, lots and lots of extra things to do, I'm sure, for all of us. We're so grateful for all of you. If you have questions, if you're diving into the scavenger hunt and find more stuff, please just reach out. We're so grateful to see you and talk with you today. Cannot wait for all of these projects to get going. We are so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll stop clicking my pen while I talk. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Betsy, yeah, you can stay on for a minute, Betsy. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone.
Great job, everyone.
Thank you so much. We
you.
appreciate
Talk to you
it.
later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Hey, bye.